tuning in to No Flag Radio. I'm your host, P. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube and definitely don't forget to tweet me. Below. Today we have a guest. I don't know whether to call him a special guest. He's unaffectionately called 44 and Mr. Dorito Dust. He's a worldly recognized Twitter troll who disparages all non-white groups, but it seems that only melanated people are the ones who hold him to his disparaging remarks. His name is Donald Trump. Where are you right now, Donald Trump?
Well, isn't it obvious?
No, not really.
I mean, isn't it obvious?
No, you're gonna have to give me a hint.
Okay, I'll give you a hint. Notice the oblong-shaped entryway. Notice the caved-out look fading into obscurity. Notice the subtle spritz of cave drippings glistening on my desk as the snow moves in this weekend to this area that I'm in. Do you have an idea of where I'm at now?
No, I do not.
You know, I'm surprised at you, P. An intelligent guy like you. I'll give you one last hint. This is found all over the internet. You can pull it up and find it pretty readily. What do you think it is?
Yeah, no, I'm still clueless.
I'm in Melania Trump's shithole.
Okay, this is interesting. So, Donald Trump, as you're familiar with, last week referred to Haiti, El Salvador, and African countries in general, like Nigeria and so forth, as shithole countries. And now he's reporting from a shithole in Slovenia. This is where Melania Trump is from. So why did you pick where Melania Trump is from, Donald? And what point were you trying to make in reporting from Melania Trump's shithole?
Well, I wanted to show the world that I did my research, and I heard the backlash. And the countries that I was actually calling shitholes are actually doing better than Melania's shithole when you talk about GDP. So, because of that, I wanted to show my awareness of the issue, and I had the Secret Service lower my entire desk, as well as the flagpoles you see behind me, into Melania's shithole to show a sense of solidarity with those people that I disparage, and I deserve every bit of criticism. I am wrong. That is why I'm dwelling in this shithole.
That's an interesting point you should bring up, Donald. I did the research, and looking at Slovenia on the ranking of GDP in terms of the world's countries, it actually ranks lower than Nigeria, lower than Kenya, lower than Tanzania. So if you're just speaking about African countries in general, yes, you were indeed very incorrect. So I'm glad you realized your wife is from a shithole by comparison to the countries that you were actually trying to disparage. Glad you pointed it out. And as we're talking, I can't help but notice, Trump, that you got rid of the American flags in the background that you usually keep in the Oval Office and have replaced it with the no flag logo. Why did you do that?
Well, I wanted to commemorate me coming here, so I had your people send me a flag that I could display at this interview to show my respect for you and the people who are watching this right now.
Loud and clear. Now, I want to start by addressing a topic that I'm sure you're familiar with. It's called trolling. We know that over the past year, you've spent time trolling presidents of countries. You even took time a couple of weeks ago to troll the Women's March. So we all would like to know, has someone challenged you to the fade? Because we all know a common occurrence on social media is that people are challenged to fades who continue to talk exorbitant amounts of noise, which definitely describes your online persona. So I'd like to ask you, in your time as a Twitter troll, has anyone challenged you to the fade?
Yes, Putin has indeed offered me many fades, as well as the guy from North Korea. They have both offered me many fades. I've turned them all down as I am a fat pig and cannot really fight.
Okay, you mentioned North Korea. Now, you put on a fake missile launch scare a couple of weeks ago, and you basically had the governor of Hawaii lie to the public and say that it happened by some mistake, by some button that was pressed, which we all know that can never happened because that whole process of even sending off the notifications for something like a missile issue requires certain keys to be turned, various people have to be involved, and actual confirmation from the Pentagon has to be sent in order to send those alerts out. So why did you pretend that this missile scare happened?
Oh, come now, P. It was a boyish prank that I was doing. Me and Mike Pence wanted to see what would happen on the island. Me personally, I was hoping that Obama would be on the island and he would be afraid. Because you know he has family in Hawaii, so I was just hoping that Obama would be there just to have him shaking in his pants some kind of way.
Wow, I've actually never heard a president admit that his presidency is centered around boyish pranks. That's interesting. So, basically, the first year and month worth of your presidency has been full of much buffoonery. What do you plan to do over the next 3 years that's going to be different?
P, make no doubt about it. I will continue to make fake missile scares. I will continue to make fake news. I will continue to send out tweets of a threatening or nonsensical nature. And I will continue to try to boost the adrenaline and the Make America White Again fervor that my redneck base depends on for their confidence boost every day. That's what I plan to do into the future. Not to mention lining the pockets of my deplorables, because if you're not a deplorable, nothing that I do daily is going to make you a dime or make your life better. I will see to it.
Okay, I also have a question about your policing instructions. Last year, you gave instructions for police to be rough with people that they were arresting and dealing with prior to any other procedures that would happen. Could you explain a little bit more about why you were advocating that?
I just said that to play on the emotions of my redneck voting base. Some of them are police officers. A lot of them are police officers. Now, if one of those cops happens to get shot in the head or happens to get stalked to their home and shot and killed as a result of being rough with someone from any non-white community, I would then say it's a tragedy and Blue Lives Matter, etc. Do I blame the activity? I would have to blame the response because that's what would go over well with the public. Blame the response to something evil instead of blaming the cause.
And do you think that that is representative of a low-minded group of people?
Yes, I do think the people who voted for me are very low-minded, but they voted for me. I am not a politician. I'm a racist who had a TV show, and the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers and so forth saw fit to position me in place so I could keep up various measures of confusion, so I have more reasons to keep my prison investments open for my people. My voting base is dependent upon the slave catching, police system, and the slave holding, prison system, all under the banner of supporting this good old days style, Make America Great Again, Make America White Again, phantasmagoria.
Well, you heard him admit it here, folks, right here on No Flag Radio. He is merely a puppet put in place by international bankers and others who run his Federal Reserve, basically to keep the prison money grab bag happening, as well as allow him to pacify and entertain the lowest vibrating members of the United States population, the rednecks. So that brings me to my next point. Any of your initiatives that you sold to the rednecks in terms of these imaginary good old days, the wall that you said you were going to build, the deportations, did you mean any of that? Because I've done a video on Latinos in general in America and how they really don't stand a chance by kissing white butt while they're here, because the people's butt they're kissing does not really like them. So I'll start off by asking, do you like Latinos?
I'll say this again. I do not like the Latinos. They are rapists, murderers, pedophiles, KKK members, and I'm gonna build that wall. We're gonna build that wall. And it's gonna be a BBW.
A BBW, what does that mean?
Yes, BBW is a term that me and my redneck followers came up with. It means a big, beautiful wall.
Okay.
And it's gonna have a door in that wall. And that door is gonna have a doorbell as well as an intercom so we can see who's on the other side. If it's a Mexican, we're not gonna let him in. And we're also gonna put enchiladas around the wall with cheddar cheese on the enchiladas. We all know that Mexicans don't like cheddar cheese on their enchiladas. Anything to deter them from trying to get over on our great wall. Our big, beautiful wall.
Hey, no need to sell me on it. I want to ask you, some estimates say the wall is going to cost billions. How are you going to collect that money from Mexico? Or do you plan on getting it from America? Because Mexico has said they're not going to pay. There's even t-shirts saying, say no to the wall, pendejo, Trump, so forth and so on. It doesn't seem like you get much support from the people you're trying to take money from in order to do it. So what are your plans?
Yes, me and Omarosa figured this out before I kicked her out. We're going to do Kickstarter. And for every dollar that we receive from Mexico, I'll send out a nice little tweet about that dollar that I received.
Got it. So you say you'll send out a nice little tweet. So now I want to talk about your tax reform bill. We see that the people who are in the 39.5% tax bracket are going to be able to receive more of a return and basically keep more of what they earn as compared to the people in the 12%. We had 5 categories of tax bracketing in the Obama era, and you broke it down to 3, pushing those that were in the 10% bracket to the 12 and everybody else to the 25, and those above that to the 39.5. So could you care to explain what you were trying to get at?
Well, Mr. P, I do not want to lie to you, sir. It's pretty obvious that I want the people who are rich to take home bigger checks. I don't know if I'll be in office again. So, while I'm here, I want to set up the people who are my friends to have money, and the people who are not my friends to argue amongst each other about who is better out of their situations, meaning the poor white trash and the non-white people, and hopefully I can keep poor white trash feeling like they're better than non-white people, Mr. P. So, my intention is to keep up hatred and to represent hatred, keep up inequity and represent inequity.
Interesting. Well, thank you for coming by, Trump. I must say you were very forthcoming in this interview, and I can't say it was good having you here, but thank you for tuning in. We're definitely gonna get back with you and see how things are going. Once again, I think this was a different kind of show. Thank you all for tuning in. We have our No Flag t-shirts, hoodies, and workout gear in production right now. When they're finished, I'll bring some examples here to the studio, and we'll start sending out orders. So please stay tuned for that. You're gonna enjoy what we came up with. Definitely don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube and check us out anywhere you see us. We're working on our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch accounts. And definitely don't forget to tweet me below. I'll get at y'all later.